You show up early to Target, hoping to snag a blaster box of tops or Donruss or whatever, but the shelves are already empty. Sound familiar? Some collectors are actually taking matters into their own hands, using Apple AirTags to track when and where stockers are replenishing the shelves. In this video, I'm going to explore what's happening, how it's being done, and the implications of the hobby, and even what is an Apple AirTag in the first place. So stay tuned as we get through this and understand if this is actually happening or not, and what are the implications for the hobby in the future. And before we even get into that, we're again doing that insider club. So if you comment insider in the comments, I'll send you a link, and that link will be like a monthly subscription of a free subscription of when release dates are coming out, when boxes are coming out, when there are card shows, all kind of restocks and things like that in the Northeast, Southeast, Northwest, whatever that could be. So I'm trying to compile this now for the May, and I'm trying to hopefully do that this weekend, next week, to get it out to you guys, because I have maybe over 250 or 300 people that have subscribed to this actual insider club. So comment insider, I'll send you that link. Easy, no strings attached, no money, nothing like that. So other than that, okay. So that leads me into segment one. What the heck are AirTags? Now, I didn't know personally, since we made the video on Friday that went over Apple AirTag, or not over Apple AirTags, but it went over, how like shelves around these large cities and heavily populated areas are like few and far between blaster boxes and mega boxes, and it's hard to find things, especially the optic. This is optic time, so it's especially hard to find optic. And even back in November and December and October, when Topps Chrome Update came out, we couldn't find them. So I mean, there's a lot of different ones that are more popular than other ones, block boxes and things like that. But the main point is what's happening. And before we even get to what's happening, like, what is an AirTag? Like, what is an Apple AirTag? And Apple AirTags, and show you a picture right here, right? Apple AirTags are small, they're coin-sized tracking devices designed to help you locate personal items like keys and wallets. I think that's what they were, like the original purpose of them is like you can put it on your keychain, you can put it inside your wallet, you can put it inside your book bag or whatever that could be, and you can track where the movement's going, things like that. And they work by emitting a Bluetooth signal that can be detected by nearby Apple devices. Updating the item's location, you can see where they're at. You can, like, in the Find My app, library. I think they're they're $99 on Amazon. I'll put a thing up there too, right? But I think they're on sale for like $79 for 4 of them. And the battery life lasts for about a year, and it's about $29 for one. And they become popular, tool for keeping track of valuables and things like that. So you can track them and see where they're at. You can put it inside your phone case or whatever, if you don't have your Find My phone not inside your phone case, but like on your key ring. So if you lose your keys and wallet and stuff like that. So that's what an Apple AirTag is. Now, why is that important? Because Apple AirTags are now entering the hobby and even the world. They came out years ago, right? But I mean, I never even noticed them or even knew what they even were until people started saying on our Friday's video about, their what's happening in the hobby. And in recent months, and probably in the last like maybe 4 or 5 or 6 months, maybe a year, discussions have emerged on collector forums like Reddit, Facebook, even on YouTube and things like that, that about using Apple AirTags to monitor retail stockers like MJ Holdings people, like people that are restocking Target, people that are restocking Barnes and Noble, whatever that could be, right? Some collectors have reportedly placed AirTags on stock carts and discreetly in stock rooms to receive notifications when new inventory arrives. While this tactic has helped some secure coveted products, it raises a lot of questions about privacy and ethics. And there's even police reports now, not many reports about people putting it on, cars and things like that for MJ Holdings people or restockers, but we have heard that through the grapevine and collected a lot of data with people and talking back and forth and going on groups and people saying stuff and seeing this. So there's a lot of talk about this happening in recent months, and I'm sure within the next few months or whatever, you're going to see people start getting arrested for this thing. So I mean, I would be on the lookout just to see, but I'm just like, I want to make this video so you're more of aware of it. So if you are a restocker and you're watching this video, that's how they're at least tracking what's going on. And there's multiple police reports, like these Apple AirTags found in child's toys, like bears and things like that, like from China or whatever that could be. There's also multiple police reports to how people are like stalking other people. They're found on cars and things like that, how they're stalking them. So what's to say people aren't doing this for restockers and following them around the entire area? Okay, well, they went to Walmart first. Now they're going to Target, and I'm following Target. Now they're going to the next Target, and I'm following the next Target, and so on and so forth. And that could be a big reason on why there are not product or a lot of product in some stores around the country. Now, sometimes you guys that comment, and that's great because I love you guys commenting saying I don't have a problem finding anything. My Walmart's pretty stocked all the time. My Target's pretty stocked all the time. So what I'm trying to do as like a scientist, not really a scientist, but a science teacher, right, is compile data and understand what's going on and try to get both sides. Like how many people are seeing restocks? What's happening with the restocks? Are they selling out in a day? Are they looking at restocks, and are they restocking around certain cities? Is it because are they selling out real fast because maybe there's local card shops around and they're going in and buying all the stock and things like that and putting them in their stores for double the price or triple the price? So there's a lot of things going on that makes these shelves not stocked up in retail. And Apple AirTags is a perfect example of people knowing what's going on and getting into like community reactions, like what's happening here with community. So some view this as a clever workaround to beat scalpers, but while others, most of us, me including, right, see it as crossing the line. Okay, yeah, you can put your Apple AirTag on this car, follow this person around, and see when they're restocking. But that is not good to do, right? One collector shared in a past video that using AirTags feels like stalking, and it is, right? It's not worth compromising someone's privacy for a few packs of cards. Another countered, if stores won't enforce purchase limits, we have to find our own ways to level the playing field. So people are taking it into their own hands because you have people that are going into Walmarts and Targets and buying the entire stock, bringing it in their stores. So people are trying to beat those other people to the thing. So I can see why they're doing that, but just the ethical reasons and the legal reasons on why you can't do that. If you do get caught, you will get fined. You will get, I'm not sure if you're going to get put in jail, but there are legal reasons and consequences on why this could be happening. So going into the next segment is legal and ethical implications, right? Legality, placing an AirTag on someone's, else's property without their consent can be considered an unauthorized tracking, which means that it's potentially leading to criminal charges, right? Apple has implemented features to alert users if an unknown AirTag is moving with them, aiming to prevent misuse and to alert users so they can alert them on their phone. Ethically, the practice blurs the line between proactive collecting and invasive behavior. So there's a lot of legal things that can happen if you are doing this. So I would definitely stop if you are doing this, right? But I can see the reasons on why. Not that I agree with that, but I can see the reasons why, because you're a person that works 9 to 5, and you're like, oh man, I want to get like an optic, I want to get a Topps Chrome, I want to get a Mosaic, whatever that was, right? And find the restocks and just try to get a box, right? And I can't find a box because by the time I get there after work, everything's gone. Or if I do get there and I just luckily go in there, like some of you have said in comments, and I find the restock, there's 20 people in front of me where I'm not going to get that stuff, right? So I do see the reason why people are doing that, but ethically that is not right, and legally that is also not right. So you'll face criminal charges. So watch where you're doing. And that leads me into my last segment is like, instead of doing AirTags, what will be done as an alternative, right? There's many alternatives that we can do to not track people when they're, that's just ridiculous in the first place, right? But to track people to, get stock of different things. And, I can see people tracking them and buying all the stock and then reselling it for hundreds and hundreds of dollars, right? I mean, I went into my Walmart today, and it's Wednesday now, right? And I went into my Walmart today, and I work as a teacher, right? So I go in there about 4 o'clock. By the time I get done teaching, um, and I talk to the guy because the guy's sitting there watching you when you look at all your stuff and look at all the boxes. I'm like, dude, did they ever get any optic in this Walmart? And he goes over, he's looking around, and I'm obviously I already looked, and there's nothing in there or any other ones, right? And there's the stock wasn't there, and they said he just restocked today, and he said that there was 20 people or 21 people there waiting for the restock as the person was stocking the shelves, as the MJ Holdings person was stocking the shelves. And there were 20 people waiting around during the day. And this is like 10:30, 11 o'clock in the morning. And like people like you and I that work full time have no chance to even get this stuff. So now we're left with buying stuff secondary if we wanted them at all. I mean, I really buy singles, but I do like to get a box here and there and just open with my kids and things like that and do it for our pack a day challenge. But I'm not paying, like I said before, I'm not paying $85 for a blast box. That's ridiculous in itself. I'd rather have nothing than pay $85. I mean, even $35 is a lot for a blaster box. So I usually go through the singles and find some singles. I'm not I'm not paying $100 for a downtown. I'm just not paying $100 for sports cards, but I may get like I bought on eBay a couple days ago, Matt Bay Beachcoff, Celebrini, Lane Hutton, right? All rookies from NHL this year. And I bought, they're like, $5 for a card, $7 for a card. So I bought a couple of them just to save and see what happens to put in our collection, right? So I don't really go crazy. I buy like the singles and small, money and things like that, just because, it's hard to find these things. And especially with optic, it's hard to find some optic that you want to try to get. So my long-winded point here, there has to be some alternatives to help us out. And alternatives, like if you're looking to stay ahead, if you're resorting or without resorting to the tracking devices, we won't want to get into that anyway, right? Build relationships, right, with store employees. Get restock information. Like ask the guy. Ask the guy. He's like, oh, the restocks are kind of random, and I'm sure he said to everybody. And you start talking to him more and getting to know him. Like, do you collect baseball cards? Like, how long you've been collecting for? Did you ask to go put in the spot and then watch the cards and things like, so you get make friends with them. And they say, oh yeah, well actually we restock every Wednesday, right? So I'm like, okay, now I know when at least Walmart restocks. But we kind of change them around every week or every month because people start getting the hang of when we're restocking, so they start waiting more. So then, next month they may restock on Thursday. So they kind of change it around a little bit, but getting to know those people that work at these larger, super Walmarts and things like that, if they're always there and see your face, it's just like going into a local card shop the same exact way. So, I mean, you can do the same exact thing for local card shops as long as they're, pretty, average with their prices. A lot of local card shops, they go into retail, buy it, and then they go and, upcharge, $70, $80 for a blaster box. And I get it. They have to make money. I get that. And they're paying $35 for the blaster box so they can actually find it. But that just hurts the consumer in the end. So it's a shame, right? You can also join local collector groups where members, they share restock alerts. You go into Facebook groups. They have a lot of Facebook groups that are like restock, whatever, right? I'm a part of like 3 or 4 or 5 of them, right? And people take pictures of the shelves and you can see what happened and where this is in like Indiana, this one's in California, this one's in New Jersey, this one's in Florida. And you can kind of at least see when they're restocking on these places, but also see what the restock is and stuff like that too. So it's a good tool to do to be part of if you're not already. So join those I guess you can call them clubs or groups on Facebook. Reddit has them, Discord has them as well, and they're pretty much all free. If you get some free, you can always find free ones to do. So that's a good thing to do instead of resorting to Apple AirTags. Use stock tracking websites. So there are some stock tracking websites. I'm not really familiar with many of them. If you are, you can let us know in the comments what you guys think, right? Or if you are familiar with them. But there are some websites that monitor inventory levels at major retailers. I'm not sure how accurate that is. I tried to use it a little bit, but it wasn't that accurate. But that was a few months ago. I'm not sure if they gotten better recently. But there is some things that, you can track websites and it might tell you what's in stock or what may be in stock in the store and things like that. But a lot of times it's not really updated. But maybe they're better now. I haven't really checked it. I haven't really tried in the last few months. Even last part is like setting up notifications. If you set up notifications in your phone, like Target website, Walmart website, it'll alert you when these boxes may drop or come back in stock and things like that. So that's a great thing to do. Download the app, download the Target app, download the Walmart app, so it can send you a alert on your phone. But you're battling bots there, and I have not one at all with this. It re-alerts me when the optics back in, and by the time I get in there and like put one box into my cart and then put my credit card information in there, by the time I do that, the thing's sold out. I'm like, what the heck? Or you do it, and then like a day later say, oh, we don't have any more stock, and they send you an email that you didn't have it anymore. So that happened 3 or 4 times to me. So you're dealing with bots, and you gotta be fast. You gotta be right on it. So maybe you get lucky, maybe you don't. But that's a tough one to deal with, because you have a lot of bots that are going on these major websites that buy these things instantly. So like my wrap up, my take, my conclusion for this is, while it's fascinating to see how technology is being used in the hobby, I personally believe, and I'm sure you do too, that using AirTags to track stockers crosses a like big ethical line. It's important to balance like our passion with, or for collecting, with respect to other privacy and even the law as well. Let's focus on like building a community that supports fair and respectable practices, and not like tracking people when things are moving around and tracking it that way. There's better ways that we can do that stuff. So let's not resort to Apple AirTags. So hopefully you're not doing that. But if you haven't heard that, like I haven't heard that in the last couple of days, at least you understand what's happening now, and that's what some people do resort to. So unfortunately, but other than that, I appreciate you guys watching. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, and make sure you sign up for the Insider Club. I'll send you that link. And other than that, I appreciate you guys watching again, and we'll talk to you guys next time. Do it for Dale. Peace.